We operate a business model that's called rental arbitrage or subleasing. We rent apartments and we sublease them, and the difference between the long-term rent and the short-term rent is our profit.
Correct.
But you've been doing this for like 7 years.
Right.
Why do you make consistent profits? And do other companies, maybe bigger or companies who even almost IPO'd, go bankrupt? What's the difference?
Their business are VC-backed companies. So they make nice big brands, spend a lot of money on branding and marketing, really nice. They build out teams and infrastructures where they're hiring all US resources, big employee salaries, and they grow at all costs. So these companies go through the next round, but there's always economic situations that could happen. COVID happens. Yeah. During the time of a lot of people were going through their funding round, money dried up.
Yeah.
Companies went bankrupt.
Done. Yeah.
And that's
because
it.
We operate a business model that's called rental arbitrage or subleasing.
Right.
So we rent apartments and we sublease them. We rent them for the long term and we sublease them for the short term.
Right.
And the difference between the long-term rent and the short-term rent is our profit.
Correct.
Now there are also quite some people who do this who don't make money. I even heard about companies like big companies going bankrupt through this model. You have been making significant profits for years and years and years. And I mean, I'm making some good profits too, although I'm starting a year almost in business. But you've been doing this for like 7 years.
Right.
Why do you make consistent profits? And do other companies, maybe bigger or companies who even almost IPO'd, go bankrupt? What's the difference?
Yeah, so there's two significant things that is going on between my business and their business. Their business are VC-backed companies. So they make nice big brands, spend a lot of money on making their branding and marketing really nice. They build out teams and infrastructures where they're hiring all US resources, big employee salaries, and they grow at all costs.
Yeah.
So they're non-profitable business. And what they're doing is they're using the VC funding, Series A, B, C, whatever it is, to inject back in the business and grow unit count. That's all, grow at all costs. And they would at some point, when they're ready to turn on profitability, they can do so by scale. So these companies go through the next round, but there's always economic situations that could happen where
during those rounds.
During the rounds where they now losing money, now it's the next time to raise the money. But COVID happens.
Yeah.
And investment banks are they don't want to get into this business now. So they don't want to have people putting in money back in. You're not showing profits right now. We'll cut our losses and we'll walk away. So now all of a sudden COVID happens, and it's during the time of a lot of people were going through their funding round. Money dried up.
Yeah.
Companies went bankrupt.
Done. Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Now then this is next round of I've seen a handful of companies went bankrupt again. And now the confidence in the big VC-backed model is not there anymore. There's just one big company called Sonder who has lost 99% of their market cap. They were a $2.5 billion company, and now they're worth $30 million, $40 million, right?
Meaning if you would have invested $1,000, you would have had $100 right now, right?
Yeah, less, maybe $40, $30
That's
now.
Yeah. So their value is not real. They're not making a profit.
Right.
Here.
So the one company that everybody needs to be successful in the VC is failing, right?
Yeah.
So it's now the VC-backed companies go for the next funding round, and they don't have another company that can say that, oh, this is going to be a successful model. We need to. So now all of a sudden they can't raise funds. Boom, bust 1,000 units back on the market.
Domino effect.
Yeah, it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, this company Sonder, the only one publicly traded company, is going to go bankrupt, and that'll be bad for the industry, for the VC-backed companies. Okay, but for me, I'm not a VC-backed company,
So
right?
you don't have any money from others in your company.
I have no money from outside, no debt in my company, and my goal is to make a profit since day one. So my margins have significantly decreased because of my scale, but I bring in virtual assistants to run my business. I'm in a market that's a good market, and I only specialize in this market because that's all I know, and that's all I know makes money, right? Yeah. It's a highly regulated market. It's hard for anybody to come in. It's good demand. So on a per unit basis, I make a gross income gross profit on my units, like my revenue above my rent minus my like direct costs,
Yeah.
cleaning, utilities, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then I have my operating expenses like employees, softwares, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm still making a net profit per unit for every unit I take on. I'm not creating brands. I'm not spending money on logos. And I'm not spending money on direct bookings. Like I'm not doing any of that.
So your
I'm just
business-
like a hustler. I'm making $1, right?
Yes.
That's all I'm doing. And that's for that reason, I'm able to make a net profit.
Yeah.
And I have no partners, nothing, and it's just all on me, right? So then it's managing your growth. Like you don't want to grow too much where, they say like fat pigs get slaughtered first, right? So if I took all my proceeds and just grow, and then all of a sudden I get caught in the wrong cycle, I have a different cycle than the VC-backed companies, but I've been caught in wrong cycles and it hurts, I almost got knocked out and, during COVID and other times. So you just have to manage that growth as well. But don't get me wrong, like I make a lot of money, then my seasonality makes all that money go away. Like right now, I've lost a lot of the money I made.
So how much did you lose last month?
So last month, if you add back the concessions,
Yeah.
like I would have lost 225, 250,000.
Wow.
But concessions was like $75,000 worth of concessions that I negotiated
Yeah.
on my renewals, and I did a whole bunch of stuff to make sure that, like, because my slow season's here, my concessions come at this month. I was like $150,000 loss. My January was $350,000 loss.
Yeah. So in the last 2 months, you
2
lost
months.
$500,000.
$500,000, yeah.
But
Yeah.
how much at the end of the year,
Yeah.
if you calculate everything, right? Your losing
Yeah.
months, your
Yeah.
profit, like your green months, how much money do you expect to make at the
Right.
end of this year?
So in the last 4 months, I lost around 700,000.
700,000.
Maybe more, 800,000. But last year during those 4 months, I lost $1.5 million.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so that was the scary moment. Like for me, that's when I went like negative in my bank account, and I was putting stuff back on credit cards and like delaying rents and stuff. But this year was far better winter than last year's, and I cut a lot of my units that like were non-performers or I was forced out, and I renegotiated my concessions. But okay, so on an annual basis, this last year in 2023, I made about $1.4 million of net income.
Amazing.
But then that net income ends up getting eaten my slow season, right? Plus my taxes that I have to pay for the year, $300,000 of taxes. So like my bank account fluctuate up, down, right? And that year that I had a bad year during the winter, that took a toll on me. I had, like I said, I negative.
Yeah.
And then this year, it made me not have confidence to grow again because I lost a lot of money. I'm like, is this winter going to be as bad as every year? Like,
Then I cannot handle 400 units, for
no,
example.
I'm not going to add units. Now I'm keeping all the cash.
Yeah.
Now I'm not spending money to buy real estate. Now I'm just like waiting for the next thing. So, but now all of a sudden winter came and I used my reserves. Now I'm in a good spot. Now it's like, okay, let's grow again. Let's add units. Let's do things. I'm in a good feeling, good mood now, But I might have missed out on some growth that I could have had. So it's just like a ongoing thing. So it's a long answer to a question.
It's a rolling
Yeah.
dice basically, and it's all about the profit in the long run.
Yes.
And even not 1 year, but multiple years.
Yeah,
Right? It's like longevity. It's a long.
Business is a long game. Like
Yes.
for me, I respect the longevity of anybody that's doing business for 5 years. It's amazing. It's so rare. Then that business in 10 years, like you did something like that's like 0.01% people doing 15. This is like generational now. Like your business is gonna be there for some time.
Yeah.
So business is like that. I hear a lot of get quick rich people, but I don't know if that can happen consistently for that person. They might end up being in the wrong cycle and they lose it all, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I've gone through these things in my mind. Like when I first started, I'm like, wow, I made so much money. I made 10 years of my corporate job in just 1 year. Can I have like two,
You made
3
10 years of
10
your corporate job in 1 year.
One
So
year,
what
yeah.
did you make
I made
your
80
last year as an employee?
So okay, so the last I left making 85,000.
85,000.
Right? And if you make $1.4 million this last year, that's not even 10 years. That's like 20 years.
So starting his business is
Yeah.
like maybe the best decision of your life.
Of course, it
Yeah.
changed my life. It changed my family's life. It
Yeah.
changed my kids' life.
It's an amazing
It's
feeling.
gonna have a generational impact. 100% of our livelihoods. It changed my friends' lives. Like it's the craziest thing. Like I always thank God for helping me finding this opportunity and going to a point where it changed my whole mindset on life, lifestyle, Like the things that I'm doing is like a dream, you know. Like I always dreamed about these cars. I dreamed about these vacations. Like I've dreamed about this kind of stuff, and now I'm living it.
Yeah. Now you
That's
own these
another
cars.
story,
Yeah.
but like you know, it's like another story that maybe we could talk about, like how it feels to.
Yeah.
I'm grateful and happy for it, but it's this thing of like wanting more always that kind of gets to me. You know?
Continues here. I mean, before we get there,
Yeah.
let's maybe start about the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I think a lot of people will be watching who are thinking about starting their business.
Yeah.
Like might be stuck in the 9 to 5 right now, or not even working, or like in any kind of situation that they feel like caught in the rat race.
Right.
Entrepreneurship sounds amazing, but also it can be tough.
Yes.
What would you say to like people who are like watching this podcast, listening to this podcast, and are considering to start their Airbnb business? What would your advice be? What should they do?
Okay, so number one, I always say is learn and education. Whether it's joining a community like yours, whether it's buying a course from somebody, following people on Instagram in the business, going to YouTube, going to forums, going to Facebook groups. Learning is good.
Yeah.
Spend some time learning, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. The next thing is taking action.
Yeah.
A lot of people will learn forever and they won't make us move. They'll learn so much to the point that they say, oh, this is too hard. And that's not good. I'd rather have a guy that doesn't know anything and takes action versus a guy that knows everything and takes no action, right?
Makes sense.
So action, take it, start, get one unit, bet on yourself, you know, make it so we're like, hey, I'm going to make this happen, right? And have a mindset that like you're going to win. I always had that mindset, no matter what. I always want to win. And I always did win. And then winning was not the greatest feeling, but losing is the worst feeling. And because you're so used to winning, like losing hurts. You know, I hated it, no matter what it was whether sports, anything, right? So have that mindset. Then when you start getting in the business, like adjust, learn the business, make sure you're doing the right things in their business with pricing, guest services, cleaning, and all that stuff. So the thing is, start to your risk profile. You know, like if you want to just do it on the side, get your 1, 2, 3 units. You know, have a nice little side income to pay for your home, whatever your rent or whatever it is. But if you want to take it to the next level, get to that 5 to 10 unit mark. You know, and then it's like, oh, hey, I replaced my job. And then if you want, scale it to what your heart desires. The thing is, it's not easy. You know, don't get me wrong. Like an entrepreneurship, like I've gone through crazy stuff, and it's not easy. Like I don't have a lot of work on a daily basis, but I carry a lot of stress on a daily basis, right?
Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I'll tell you now, like I have that dream 2-hour work week, you know, where I have one meeting every week, and the rest is just relationship with the landlords, right? And my one meeting a week is my leadership meeting where I'm handing out all the, like steering the ship, exactly telling them what we need to do, solving the problems then and there on that meeting. That meeting is exhausting. Like I get mentally tired after it for like a day, you know, because I'm thinking of all the solutions throughout the week. But then other than that is like I'm managing my stress. Like there's always these crazy like business ending problems that come up no matter what. Every month is something. Like it's like, when will this stop, right? So I manage my stress for those things, right? And wait and just like try visioning what I need to take this business. And number two is how can I handle some of those, de-risk some of the situations that can happen to me, right? If an Airbnb account goes away, what do I need to do? If regulation changes, if I have cash flow issues, what landlords do I want to partner with? Like I'm visioning stuff all the time.
Yeah, I can really relate to that. Like the scenario thinking, the continuous activity in your brain. Like, okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you're the one who's responsible. You're the one who takes the leadership, who takes the hits, who makes a profit, but also takes the hits. So there is no one who you can basically throw the responsibility to when shit hits the fan.
Right.
So I can really relate to what you're saying right there.
And then, but like you might be at the gym and working, you know, you're doing your squats, deadlifts, you know, all that.
Yeah.
But you're still thinking about your business, right?
Yep.
So is that working or no, you know, but like you're still thinking about like what's going on.
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of people cannot handle that.
No.
That's what I figured. Like entrepreneurship gets like almost like praised as if it's something amazing and everybody should be an entrepreneur. I don't agree.
Right.
I think that entrepreneurship is made for a select group of people, but I encourage everybody to try it out.
Try it out, yeah.
Try it out. But at the end of the day, if you're an employee and you're happy having a job where you work from 9 to 5, 9 to 6, and then go home and do not carry the stress, even if you work in the evenings, do not carry the stress of the employees. I mean, how many people do you have in your company? Like what's...
Yeah, 75 people now, yeah.
Right, so all these people's livelihoods and their
course.
families
Yes.
depend on your decision making.
Right.
So that's not an easy responsibility to carry.
It's not.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, sometimes, like, the employee route is, like, the easy way out. You know,
Yeah.
you get your nice check. Like, my friends now have gotten to this, like, you know, 6-figure salary. So they're
Yeah.
making $150,000, $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that's enough money to cover your nice home, your nice Mercedes, your nice private school, and they're living a good life. They're living the same life I am,
Yeah.
but I have a little bit, like, little bit of, like, flexing and, like, little bit of, like, luxury more above and beyond
You
them.
make 6 times more. So.
Yeah, right. So I deserve to be able to do that.
Right.
But they'll even take the Dubai trip like I am, you know.
True.
They'll even stay at nice hotels. Like, so it's like, but I'm thinking, like, next. Like, I'm thinking about, like, how can I make my kids like be financially free when they're at that age, you know?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about after I handle my family, then how can I benefit my community? You know, I love the community that my kids are part of. How can I better, like, the schools, like their sports? Sports is life, in my opinion. So how can I do better than that? And then, like, what are the next levels in life? Like, you know, after you cover all your family and stuff and start helping your community, it's like, what else can you do in life to better the world? You know, you want to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I want to. I'm not there at all by no means. I'm just trying to figure out my life.
Yeah,
to,
that's,
like,
that's step one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, you got to have a vision too. And if you have a vision, you work towards that. And I want to
Yes.
work towards that, you know?
Yes. So step one is like your family's security and freedom, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
and after that, it expands to community and being able to add value.
Yes.
So you have been making quite some money for quite some years now in the same business model. You've been focusing on this business model, and you succeeded, obviously. What do you do to reward yourself?
Yes. So right now I'm in Dubai, right? Like, I am in Dubai. I'm staying at amazing hotels, St. Regis, the Edition. I'm taking business first class flights, and life is good.
Yeah.
Like, I love that feeling. You're rewarding yourself. I don't think about how much money I'm spending here on this trip at all. You know, like, I go to dinner, it is what it is. Like, it's just a nice feeling like that, you know? I like exotic cars. I like driving and pulling up to a restaurant in my city, pulling up to Starbucks, and feeling like a mini celebrity walking out of the car. And people look at you and think, like, oh, what is he? Who is he? Like that.
Because
It's a
you
good
have
feeling.
a few very nice cars. Right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite one?
Every car has a purpose, you know. I like my Lamborghini on Saturday nights. I like my Rolls Royce on Sundays. You know, it's pick a day. I like them, right? So for me, it's like when you start living the part and people expect that from you, you start performing at that level too.
Yeah.
You speak nicely to people. You talk big. You want to make it happen. Like, I believe if you start acting that part, you can become that part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was probably acting the part before I had it too, you know, and I want to continuously do that. I want to act like I'm a bigger boss than I am, so I can work towards that always.
Yes.
So, like, I love the feeling. Like, you feel good when you do that. You want to, so even, like, if you have a nice car, you want to get a nice haircut. You don't want to, like, not look good coming out of the car. Then you want to go to the gym because you want to first park your car there, and you want to go out and look good too, to come
look fit,
Yeah,
be
fit.
fit,
Yeah. So it's all like, it's like a rolling thing. The more you do, the more better you become in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So those are like the things that you like rewarding yourself
Yes.
with, and this is a lifestyle that you want to achieve, and you're achieving right now.
Yes.
What's your 5-year plan? I mean, you set up a business 7 years ago. You made money from the get-go.
Yes.
You had some tough times in between, but I think you're a great success case of just doing it, right?
Right.
Just do it and get it done, and set up a business that has like a good SOP, standard operating procedures, and you're 7 years later, still making good money. What do you want to do in the next 5 years?
So 5 years is too far for my brain to do. Like, my thing has always been like 3 years. And I'll tell you, I've accomplished what my main goal was already. You know, I was 3 years in. I said all I needed in this business is 3 years to have enough income to cover me to have a basic life, right? Like enough money to, I never have to worry about like my home and my kids or whatever, you know? And then after those 3 years, I hit that, right? Now all of a sudden, then my life upgraded. And I said, I need 2 more years, you know? Then I'm like, okay, if I have 2 more years, I get these nice cars too added to it.
There we go.
Yeah. So now I'm approaching to those like, you know, extra 2 years, right?
And
so,
then what? That's the question.
Yeah, now it's then what? Now I have this new mindset. Like if I got 1 or 2 more years or 3 more years, it's like, okay, now I could set up my family. I could get some more assets, and to have some assets that can cover my kids' school when they want to go to college, when they want to have their first home, and I want to cover for that. And I think that would be what I want to cover for my kids, like a college and a home. And I don't want to do too much where they're not productive in their life. You know, I want them to be working too, or whatever it is, if entrepreneurship or any passion, whatever they want to do.
Pursue it.
Pursue it, yeah. But I want them to have the backing of like the basic needs of life, right? So now that's where I'm working. And at the same time, I'm thinking about lifestyle type assets, purchases. Before it was like, I want to get income producing properties, like buildings and small units. But then I realized that like, those buildings that I buy, I never even step foot in after I buy them. I don't even look at their P&L. I don't even do anything. It's just you bought them, now you have them. And that was like the initial goal of anybody in the world, like income producing assets to cover your income, to cover you for. But now it's like, I want to step in and feel my assets.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between taking the equity of all my buildings and then just buying a nice $1.5, $2 million home? And instead of having 5 of these buildings, have a paid off home.
Yeah.
Where you could step in it.
Yeah.
And it's the same equity. They probably appreciate at the same rate, but now I'm living in the home. I'm not making the income, but I don't need the income. It's a paid off home. What else do I need in life?
It's
right?
already good. So,
right.
So basically your goals are switching from I need to maximize my income full stop. So even if it's like stocks or whatever, you could theoretically do that.
Yeah.
To something that you will enjoy as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So lifestyle.
Lifestyle assets. Yeah. I want to get a nice big home. I want to have the nice paid off cars. Yeah. I want a vacation home in Dubai.
Super cool.
Yeah, so I want to step into my assets. I don't want these like income because I feel like, okay, you know, what are these like extra 4 units that I'm going to put on Airbnb? When that'll take a lot of capital. You know, 25% down, it's like $400,000 that I have to bring to the table, plus all the furniture, and then I get 4 Airbnbs. Yeah. I'm hitting deals the other day for 20 of them, you know, while I'm in Dubai.
Right.
So I don't need the cash flow from this when like this is exciting, this is not exciting, you know? So why not touch my assets and why not feel it?
And experience them.
Experience them, yeah.